Alright, so last week we started solving some pretty easy equations. This week we're going to progress into some that are a little bit more difficult. Not a whole lot, but anyways, these are called two-step equations. And they're called two-step equations because they take 2 steps to solve them. Alright, so last week we were doing one-step equations. It was just one quick thing. This time it's 2. So first of all, we need to talk about the steps for solving equations. We wrote this down last week in our 4.1 section, so hopefully you guys remember it. These steps follow, it's the same steps no matter how hard your equation is. So in the future we're going to solve like 3-step and 4-step and 5-step equations, maybe even 6-step equations. No matter how, this just tells you how hard the equation is. No matter how hard the equation is, these steps right here are always going to be the same. So the first thing you want to do is we want to identify what's happening to x. Starting today, there might be several things happening to x, okay? So first you want to just identify what's happening to x. Is it being multiplied by something? Is it being divided, added, or whatever? So step 2, now this step we did not do last week because we didn't have to, but now we're going to have to start doing this. We want to start farthest away from x. Okay, last week there was only really one thing to do, so it doesn't matter, you just do it. Now there's going to be a specific order that you have to do it in, so you want to always start farthest away from x. But on that same note, still on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, so if there's anything on the other side of the equal sign from x, forget about it. Okay, and then the last step, and this is the most important step, is use your inverse operations to undo everything. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So these are the 3 steps we talked about last week. They are going to carry us through. Anytime we're solving equations, these are our 3 steps, okay? So let's start off with our first example. So I have 3x plus 6 equals 15. So your first thing is to identify what's happening to x. So these are the 2 things that are happening to x, okay? First of all, do you remember what 3x means? If there's nothing between them, this means 3 times x. And then also, x is being added to 6. So it's being multiplied by 3, and it's being added to 6. This 15 isn't doing anything at all to x because it's on the other side of the equal sign. So leave it alone, okay? Leave it alone. So, out of these 2 things, they are what's happening to x. Now we are going to pick the one that's further away from x. So think about it. This one is literally right beside x. This one has a whole plus sign between them, okay? So right beside x, further away. So this is what we want to start with, the plus 6. Now we know from last week the inverse operation, the opposite of add 6, is to subtract 6. Now, when you're solving your equations, you have to make sure you balance it, okay? So if you do it over here, you also have to do it on the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to subtract 6 there. So, do you remember what 6 minus 6 is? That is 0. Those cancel out. We're going to bring down our 3x, just bringing it down. We're going to bring down our equal sign. And then 15 minus 6 gives us 9. Now all we got to get rid of is the 3. And like we said a while ago, it's being multiplied. 3 times x. So the opposite of multiply is to divide, and you do it on both sides of the equal sign. 3 divided by 3 cancels. We're going to bring down our x and our equal sign, and then 9 divided by 3 is 3, so x equals 3. So let's make sure we know how to check ourselves. It doesn't take very long at all to do, so I'm going to go back to the original equation. 3x plus 6 equals 15. So this means that this x, the solution is 3. So in place of x, I'm going to put 3. So 3 times 3 plus 6. If you type this in the calculator, 3 times 3 plus 6, if If you type this in the calculator, it will give you 15, which is what it was supposed to give you. That tells you you did the answer, or excuse me, you got the right answer. All right, so that was it. We solved our first equation. That was 2 steps. Okay, so step 1 was to subtract 6. Step 2 is to divide by 3. All right, next one. Let's do 144 equals 5a minus 16. So I changed it up, gave us a different variable, but step 1 is to see what's happening to your variable. So we got the 5. A is being multiplied by 5. And a is being subtracted by 16. So out of these two things, can you tell which one's further away? The 16 is, right? So how do we get rid of minus 16? We add 16. So because that's what we're trying to get rid of, we're going to add 16 underneath it. We're also going to do it on the other side of the equal sign over here. 144 plus 16 should give you 160. Bring down your equals, bring down your 5a, those cancel. Last step is to get rid of the 5. These are being multiplied, so we are going to divide. Those cancel. And then 160 divided by 5 gives you 32. Bring down your a, so a equals 32. That's it. Okay, let's look at one that looks a little bit different. So I have x over 3 plus 9 equals 21. So first of all, the 21, it's not doing anything to x. Leave it alone, okay? These are the two things that are being done to x, okay? So x is, do you remember what over 3 means? This means x divided by 3. So x is being divided by 3. It's also being added to 9. Now, out of these two things, we want to start with the one that's further away. Can you tell which one of these is further away? It's the 9, because the 3 is literally directly underneath it, okay? So it's right next to it. But the 9 has got all this other stuff. So anything that's directly underneath it, it's closer. So this is closer, this one's further away. So we start with the plus 9 by subtracting 9 from both sides of the equal sign. 9 minus 9 cancels out. I'm going to bring x over 3 down. Bring down my equals, and then 21 minus 9 is 12. And so this is the last thing we got to get rid of. Like, okay, like we said, this means x divided by 3, so the opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3 on both sides of the equal sign. Those cancel, bring down your x equals, and then 12 times 3 is 36. Done. Okay, let's do another. We're going to do several examples today. I want to make sure you have plenty so that when you go to do the worksheet, you will be, you'll have plenty of examples to refer to. All right, this one, 11 equals a over 3 minus 4. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes here to do this one by yourself, but real quickly, let me just give you a hint. Leave the 11 alone, okay? It's on the other side of the equal sign. Leave it alone. You're going to take care of these two things. These are what's happening to your variable. Okay, so pause the video right now so that you can try this one by yourself. All right, so out of these two, this one is further away, so we're going to add 4 to get rid of the minus 4. 11 plus 4 is 15. Bring this down. This is dividing by 3, so we're going to multiply by 3. Those cancel. 3 times 15 is 45. So, excuse me. Let's check ourselves. So I'm going to go back up here. If you take A and you plug in 45, excuse me, you can type this in the calculator. And remember how to type in your fraction. You're going to do alpha y equals. So type this in the calculator, hit enter, and it should equal 11. If it does, that tells you 45 was right. All right, let's do a few more. All right, example 5. All right, I've got negative 2c minus 3 equals 15. So, first of all, 15 is on the other side of the equal sign, so leave it alone. The negative 2, and the minus 3, those are what's happening to c. Out of these two things, this one is literally right beside c, so leave it for the next step. This is furthest away, okay? So out of these two things, we're going to start with our 3. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. That cancels that. I'm going to bring this down, negative 2c. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. And then 15 plus 3 is 18. Now remember, this is where some people they mess up on. These two things are being multiplied, okay? If this were a regular 2c, we know that 2 is being multiplied by c. Here, negative 2 is being multiplied by c. So because they're being multiplied, we want to do the opposite, which is divide. So, divide by a negative 2. Bring down your c, and then if you type that in the calculator, 18 divided by negative 2 is negative 9. Okay, let's do another one together, and then I'm going to have you try some by yourself. So I've got negative 5 plus k over 6 equals negative 15. Somebody in the other class said this one was kind of tricky or confusing. I think it's because of the negatives, but we're going to leave this alone because it's on the other side of the equal sign. These are the two things happening to k. Now, which one of these is further from k? If you look, this one's directly underneath it, so leave it alone for now. We're going to start with our negative 5. How do we get rid of a negative 5? We add 5 on both sides of the equal sign. Those cancel. Negative 15 plus 5 is negative 10. The last thing to do is to get rid of dividing by 6 by timesing by 6. And then negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. All right. Let's let you guys try a couple here. I have 7x minus 10 equals 46. And negative 6 equals negative 8 plus p over 11. So I want you guys to pause the video and try these real quick. Remember, leave this alone because it's on the other side of the equal sign of the x. On this one, leave this alone because it's on the other side of the equal sign from p, okay? So I'll give you pause this so that you can try these. All right, on example number 7, what we're going to do is we're going to, out of these two things, x is being multiplied by 7 and it's being subtracted by 10. Out of those two things, this one's further away, so we start by adding 10 on both sides of the equal sign. Those cancel. Bring down your 7x and your equal sign. 46 plus 10 is 56. These are being multiplied, so we divide by 7. And then 56 divided by 7 is 8. Okay, number 8. These are the two things that are happening to p. It's being added to negative 8 and it's being divided by 11. This one is directly underneath, so it's closest. So we start here. This is furthest away from p. Besides this, but again, it's on the other side of the equal sign, so leave it alone. We start with our negative 8. The opposite of negative 8 is plus 8. That cancels that. Negative 6 plus 8 is 2. Bring this down. We know here p is being divided by 11, so the opposite is to multiply by 11. Those cancel. 11 times 2 is 22, so p equals 22. All right, I think that's enough. If you guys have any questions or you want to see some more examples, I'll be happy to do some more examples. If you need any help on the worksheet on 4.2a, please let me know. Okay, the next few days, we're just going to build. We're going to keep building on this. We're going to look at different examples. So you really need to make sure you understand this before you get too far into it, okay? Y'all please ask me if you have any questions.